Yeah,
Just
I would like to share a little like backstory of this, and also maybe this might give some folks some ideas. So I think it was before pandemic. I was in an software architecture team, and we really were struggling with the pace of the technology and to communicate the choice of technologies across the company. And we were looking for some ways to do it properly. Then we found this technology radar from Thoughtworks. uh, just be mindful, this is an opinionated list of technologies ThoughtWorks technologists prefer. They obviously have a very high scale, but for example, their clients are mostly big corporates. So some technologies here might not fit a startup culture, for example. Just keep that in mind. But we found this and we just dove into it first to get ideas of other technologists and how they see the future. Then there is actually an open source version of this that you can implement just by with a little Excel sheet of the list of technologies you're referring, and then you can just publish it in anywhere in your company to um, to have easier communication channels for technologies you're picking. So this became the de facto communication within our company for quite a while. And so
oh,
it is split into four categories, like techniques, tools, platforms, languages, and frameworks. And there's a certain way you could look at it. So there are rings, if you can see, and this adopt, it starts with adopt, it goes out into trial, then there is assess, and there's hold. Because technologies are not staying now for many years anymore in one state in your company. They are keeping this as a way to track how technologies are changing. So one technology, let's say from the tools section, might start in the assess one because they're assessing it. Then they keep implementing it more and more, and it goes into trial. And then when they say, okay, this is a good mature technology that we are actually telling people to just move on to, it goes into the adopt circle. Um, so I don't know anywhere we can start, Carlos. Uh,
yeah, I want to say that this is well, I think this part going to record. This is a good advice that Sevi gave of like the technology radar as a tool, right, in the company to communicate is very powerful. Also to the outside world, as you have, if you work in an enterprise, you're definitely working with a lot of vendors and a lot of integrators and system integrators and ISVs also. And this is a way that you can communicate because a lot of those vendors or outsiders, people that want to help your organization, are going to ask you like, what tools do you use? What practice do you have? And if you have like this in a spreadsheet in a website, you can say, these are the tools that we have, and then the different like threshold, right? Because it's not like which tool do I use, like do you use, it's like at what level you're like adopting it, like you're like this is what we use, we don't question it, like this is the best practice. And then like these are things that we're trying, and then this is the level that we're assessing. And then things that go into hold, it could be two things, right? It's like too new to even like we're not even accessing it yet, or saying like these are things that we tried, that we move from trial to back to hold, like we tried and we don't want it, we don't want to be used. So or maybe start a practice, right, that you're migrating from that to something new. So new projects should not be using, I don't know, to give an example, like Docker Swarm and Kubernetes, right? Maybe you have Docker Swarm in hold because new projects should not be using Docker Swarm, right? New projects should be working with Kubernetes if you have that. So this is a great tool to communicate
um,
that.
can you click the third number 3 on techniques? Uh,
Number three on techniques, and
yeah.
techniques also. I would say that this also works with. I think Gartner has a DevOps uh, quadrant
report.
or has like the curve, the bell curve. You don't remember now the name, but it's
Let
similar
me
to
see.
this, right? Of what things are adopted and what things are like beginning. Go ahead.
Yeah. So here, for example, for continuous deployment, if you go to the blip history, yeah, you can see
Oh,
how
I didn't know there
historically
was a
this
historic
actually
information.
evolved. Yes, this is the best part. Like something go to adopt in a long time, and they keep and see it started with assess, then it go to trial, then it went into adopt.
Yeah, and it mentions 2011, and they have. So this is the paragraph they had at that time.
Yes, exactly.
Oh wow! So you can go back in time, like the word agile, right?
Yeah.
Continuous deployment. So in 2024, actually it
It
took
was in
this long,
trial.
right? To
Imagine, like, yeah, it was in trial back then.
13
Can you
years from
imagine?
going from
Yeah.
trial to adopt. You would think that people were doing continuous deployment for a while. Anyone like me confuse say causation versus correlation, which is that's different. Continuous deployment versus continuous release. I always get those two mixed. Continuous deployment is the one that automatically goes into production, right? With
Yeah.
guardrails and everything that is needed, which goes along with the 1% canary,
Yeah.
right?
If you go back, I really like the number 23 up there at the top. It doesn't have a history. I think it's fairly new.
Let me
It's
see.
replacing
Oh
pair
yeah.
programming with AI. So stop doing this. It's
So
their suggestion.
in
Yes.
13 years, was that 20?
Yeah.
37. How old when I'm not going to be around, I guess. So if you're watching this and I'm not leaving, we were laughing about this hold, and then probably will be adopt in 13 years.
Maybe.
Um,
Yeah.
but this is something that I Missy, not I'm doing it. Who else is doing it? Like I my
Let's see what they say. Yeah, coding assistants can offer benefits for getting unstuck, learning about a new technology, onboarding, or making tactical work faster so that we can focus on strategic design. But they don't help with any of the team collaboration benefits, like keeping the work in progress low, reducing handoffs and learning, making continuous integration possible, or improving collective code ownership.
yeah
That's an
yeah
important one, collective code ownership, actually.
that's what you lose, right? So
You
and
can create silos if you keep giving people AI pair programming, because yeah, how do you do learning? It's a tricky one.
you just everybody would do their own independent learning, right? It's
Yeah,
like books, I guess,
maybe.
right? Everybody's reading their book and learning with the book, so everybody has their own book
Let's
and then
keep
comes into the
our
book club.
hopes high, Carlos. Don't break my hopes for
Yeah.
pair programming.
But this
You
is
can
this
still pair program with your cat if you want to.
yeah yeah, there's a lot of benefits of but AI is taking it's making you
Yeah.
more productive, but you lose that cross education. That's a good one. Let me zoom out to get the numbers. So that's on hold. Um, they say, right,
So
based
there
on
is
their
another
survey
one.
that
Yes.
they did, right?
Yeah.
Oh,
So, as I said, this is a very opinionated guide, and it says right on the top when you go on the page, like, this is what we think of the technologies at hand right now.
Yeah, and the company can decide. Well, we are adopting per programming with AI, right? Using Amazon Q
Yeah,
or
they also
Copilot or
have,
whatever.
they also have stop LLM ban as well somewhere in hold, I think. 22, yeah, LLM bans. Yeah, so what they're suggesting is that companies should introduce LLMs with approved ones, with approved solutions.
I think someone was going to comment something, Jack, or
yeah.
I think I saw.
No,
Yeah, Jack, I think was,
no.
yeah.
Quick question. Where is
Satish.
Kubernetes? Like, are we supposed to find it somewhere here? I didn't find it in platform.
It's not every technology ends up here. I mean, it doesn't necessarily say they don't use Kubernetes. it would be staying here forever, probably, like in the last 10 years. So some of them just don't show in they don't even discuss it anymore, I think.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't know where Kubernetes or containers, but there's containers. I saw containers based or Kubernetes related tools under tools.
I saw K9s
K9s.
on
I was
number
interested
40.
to see K9.
Yeah.
Anyone familiar here with K9? That was an
Yes.
interesting 43. K9 is there. Let me see if it has
Someone
a brief
found
of history.
Kubernetes as well in the old ones in 2018. It got into adopt and stayed there for a while, and then they decided to not keep it there.
Yeah. The one thing that I was based on Satish's question, platforms. I went to platforms, and since I'm I guess contaminated based on the world where I live, right, with Kubernetes and platform, building platforms on Kubernetes and Kubernetes being the platform, but it's more of ecosystem.
Mm-hmm.
The things that are here are, they call them platform, but the things that I was looking at was like, for example, fast chat, Databricks, Unity catalog. So I was looking for like, what do they consider a platform, right? Azure a search, Elastic Foundation DB, which is a database, right? Is that a platform? So it was very
That's a
confusing
good
for me,
one.
like the definition of platforms that they put in this corner.
Oh, it could be, yeah. I understand where you're coming from. We have a now very specific view of platforms, I guess.
The only thing that I
About the work we've
saw
been doing.
familiar that I knew was SpinCube. Anyone familiar with SpinCube?
I am. I'm already trying to become already a contributor.
Oh,
wow!
Tell us about it. What's it like? What do you do with it?
Actually, I played around with it and I like it. So I reached out to the team from on their Slack channel, and yeah, I joined one of their team meetings, and yeah, I like it. It's actually I don't know if you know. Is it not wasn't the other stuff? It's Spin.
WebAssembly.
Spin. Yep.
Oh yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, so it's basically an operator for Spin on Kubernetes. So that's what is actually.
Yeah, it's allowed
Oh.
to package code or functions with using WebAssembly. So you will write it in JavaScript or Python or Go or C++, convert them into WebAssembly, and then run them on a runtime. And then SpinCube made it like easy to run on Cube. This is interesting. Spinnaker shows here. I think it's related. Like I thought they were putting like Spinnaker next to SpinCube, but they're like totally two different things. I don't even know why they put it here. Maybe the way it's a deployment tool, or was interesting.
Good point.
On that one.
Spinnaker is still here though, on its own, on number 55 in tools. So yeah.
Let's see if I can. So what do they say for what number is Spinnaker?
55.
55. This one I can talk a little bit because let me see the history. So it went to 2017. Netflix was a big proponent of this. I remember when Spinnaker was using Netflix, open source Spinnaker, and a lot of companies that I talked to today use it, and some other companies have moved away from Spinnaker to because Spinnaker, 2017 wasn't purpose built for Kubernetes. It was like to replace things like Jenkins or do CD. And I've seen some folks moving from Spinnaker to something like Argo CD or Flux in terms of Kubernetes. They were using Spinnaker to deploy Kubernetes apps, and they moved from using Spinnaker to deploy Kubernetes app to start using practices like GitOps. So that's one data point at least that I know, but it went to trial in 2024. I think the company that was behind it, like bankrupt or something. So go ahead. It's back to tools.
Yeah, I like number 72. It's an Assess. It's a terminal for macOS and Linux.
Yes,
I played with it. Yeah. How do you like it?
No, I have not used it, but I have a peer that we have done pair programming. I do pair programming, and he showed me that, and he uses all the time. So I was asking him what tool was that he was using in the terminal. That it looked very cool. It has
Yeah.
AI capability features. I didn't know that.
Yeah, it says the intelligent terminal. So AI and terminal capabilities basically.
Any more? Any
What does
numbers?
it mean? Oh, is it
Go ahead, Tony.
interpreting? Oh, did you really want to list the files? I thought you want to remove the files, or
Remove what?
Yeah,
I missed it.
for critical things. I use a little tool from Amazon, which is free, Amazon Q in the CLI. Sometimes I just like, but it's a CLI to ask a question. Like I'll put pound and then like, how do I do this? And then it will give me back the command, either a terminal command or a CLI command.
that sounds neat.
Yeah.
Also,
exactly.
Francisco pointed at Bruno. I haven't. I heard about it, but I haven't used it. So it's number 42 again in tools.
42 on adopt, and it's in adopt.
Yeah.
Anyone familiar with Bruno wants to mention something?
Maybe Francisco, but I think he's in a coffee place.
It's an IDE. It's an IDE to work with REST APIs. Looks like Postman, but I think there's many tools in this space on like working with APIs and test your API. And they have a GUI. So I think they mentioned Postman, Insomnia in this category. Let me see.
Hi there. Hey, Francisco. There's a lot of noise in the coffee shop. I'm sorry about that. Yeah, I'm using Bruno, and it's very nice because you can keep track of all the modification that you do to your API calls, because it's based in a repo. So it's very nice, and even you can automate, and even you get the same call to the API in Bash in many languages. So it's very handy. It's a good alternative to Postman. We switched from Postman to Bruno, and it's very nice because you can keep everything in your repo, and you don't need to rely on the cloud version of Postman. And nowadays, every time that you need to use Postman, somehow you ended up in the cloud version. So I do recommend.
Thank you.
Well, thank you, Bruno. Thank you, Francisco. Any other tools related to Kubernetes that are here?
Let's see.
UV, RARP, ZED. I don't know what ZED is.
There is Wiz about cloud environments.
Yes.
If you want to check it out, it's apparently in adopt here.
Let me see the history. How fast is this? Right,
it's quite
trial.
Fast.
2023, adopt 2024. And I can say, well, I did a live stream, I think 2 weeks ago, with the CTO of Containers Security, and it was a good show around like how to properly authenticate into Kubernetes from the different cloud providers, like AWS, Azure, and Google, and like the differences and the similarities on how to properly like authenticate, and which tools from the ecosystem also to put on top of it to authenticate with like things like OIDC. And that's something that the team here, the group here, also learned from like Mark's and Scott book on that. But Wiz is something that it's getting popularity, and Thoughtworks is saying that is recommended as an adopt. So that says something.
Well, in my previous job in the consultancy company, Container Solutions, I think it was the latest 2 projects, customer projects. Wiz was picked by the customer, but they were both enterprise level organizations, so they needed proper gatekeeping, let's say, around cloud security. And I can see AWS Control Tower there.
I'll refresh. I think I was the one that went away, or Sevi?
I don't know, maybe it was me. My internet is a bit shaky.
I can hear you now. I think for me was everything refreshed. So I can hear you now. Go ahead, Sevi. Repeat what you were saying.
Yeah, I can see. I was saying Wiz was the choice of two previous clients, and they were big enterprises, though. So there is a certain, level of control they need. And then I saw AWS Control Tower there. If you want to just wink at your company, and then
Yeah, Control Tower is in trial. Yeah, a lot of people. We AWS. I work for AWS. I don't want to be this about AWS, but we have like two flavors. I think there's one CDK and then one for Terraform to bootstrap those accounts with the initial configuration that you want, so you can like create accounts in the large enterprise, right? They have many accounts that they get created with a certain defaults and controls.
also something I kept seeing in the last KubeCon. Obviously, it should be there for a while, but it was my first time. It's in languages and frameworks.
Yeah, I was going to move to that one. I saw a few interesting things here.
It's in 76 test containers.
Yes.
This was taking the whole software day at KubeCon Paris.
So it's test containers, both a company, because I saw that you can like run, or it's an open source project. I think it's an open source project.
I think it's open source, but
I saw here that you can like deploy.
There are donors, sponsors. So there are some sponsors behind this project, and
I
some
saw
donors.
the cloud, that you can do things in the cloud, but not necessarily. Yeah, but yeah, this is something very useful. Just so anecdote, I started working with containers in 2013, around that 2014, and this is what I used to code in Java, and JavaScript. I think in all of them, and it was very difficult to like. Everybody created their own unit test libraries to spin up the container with Docker run, to be able to wait for it and then have a port and then connect to it, run. It was like a mess. So this library helps with this, right? That you in your end-to-end test or your unit test, you just in your language, you put that you have a dependency, right? So you need to wait for like the before and then destroy, and it handles the destroy. So this is something that you saw in KubeCon, you mentioned, Savi?
Yes, in software engineering day. I don't remember the day. The co-located events before KubeCon starts in one of them.
Oh, and it's staying adopt. Was adopt in 2022. Is that was the last time that Thoughtworks did a radar? Now that I'm trying to think, no, necessarily. I don't think so.
I
think it moved to adopt in 2022. They do it every year. So
yeah, it's sometimes stays there, sometimes they don't put it in the latest radar. This radar is published every 6 months. It becomes a huge event now. They do a webcast on the day they're announcing this. People just line up and you actually can't find spots anymore. And then then it's open source. I mean, they're shared on the website. So every 6 months they get together as a team of architects, and so if you don't see the change like recently, maybe they just didn't put it. Also, I really don't want to forget what you shared for the CNCF survey thing. Do you want to go to that one?
Yeah, last thing I was going to say that I put in LinkedIn today is that this is a recent version, October 2024. And if people are not aware, they added AI and Gen AI and LLM tools. So I saw here, like, just to mention a few of them, like Light LLM is one that is very popular, abstraction of the Open API with different models behind it. VLM, I think I mentioned that the other day here. I think it's 90. I cannot get to 90. VLLM is part of the Linux Foundation. So this is getting backed by enterprises, like in terms of funding. I didn't see Ray. Ray is very popular. I think also Kubeflow, but seeing those LLM guardrails. Also surprised to see that there, that concept of
How do you say Ray? I might not know how to
Ray,
spell it. How do you spell it?
RAI.
Ray. Yeah, it's there. If you can go to search, like next to back button on the top, and then you can search specific technology. Yeah.
Oh, I didn't know that. So Sevi taught us how to use it. So it's under trial. Okay, so Ray is there. VLM is there.
Going.
So these are not like really like the new space, right? Kubernetes have been for a while cloud native. This space about using machine models, LLMs, and frameworks is like exploding with so many tools and so many models coming out. So with that, let's move up to the Kubernetes one. Have it here, and people want it, I can put it into the chat. I don't think it's they should have done it as a website, right? Sometimes it's easier. So this is a CNCF Landscape Radar. It was a survey, and I think they have like not that many, but they had the no, if I can make this bigger, you take the whole thing. So this one, yeah, the MCM, which is multi-cluster application management. In the DOP was Argo CD and Cilium. I'm trying to figure out what is the G stands for, an S and I. Oh, at the bottom, it's a graduated project. So Argo CD and Cilium are both graduated CNCF projects, and they're land in the adopt. The next level is Armada and Backstage. Backstage is in incubating. Armada is under Sandbox. Armada is around. I did a live stream on Armada, so it's a tool to do like queuing type of projects, and Backstage is an IDP, like a web browser that has plugins that you can build, like a developer portal type of thing. Kubestellar, the next level is Kubestellar, which I also did a CNCF live stream. This one goes with cluster manager to transport workloads from a central cluster to another cluster. Karmada is also implements the Kubernetes upstream multi-cluster APIs, like Work API, is still Service Mesh, and Linkerd Service Mesh. So people talk a lot of Service Mesh, but a lot of people are using it and assessing it. And the next level is Kuma, also around yeah, you can say service mesh, networking, Kubera abstractions, measure it to find it's related to service mesh. Clusterpedia, I don't know what it is. I didn't have a chance.
I never heard of it. Yeah.
If somebody's familiar with Clusterpedia. And also PipeCD, something that I was not aware. I was looking today into it. And it looks like it's inside Kubernetes. It's a tool, like it's operators and CRDs. If we go down to how people voted, you can see that they give it like 5 stars versus 1 star. And you can see like they're landing there, but then you can see like what's the percentage breakdown on the 5 stars, and it all depends who did the survey, right? With these things.
Yeah, maybe there is a detail right at the top about who participated, what type of companies or developers participated.
And they did the different breakdowns of like, this is the ratings for the usefulness, and then I think the other one was maturity, how mature you think this utility, this tool it is. So you can see in usefulness, I think Argo CD came up, Cilium came top, then Backstage, and then on maturity, Cilium still kept on the top. Armada, Linkerd. So it's different perspective, right? It's different dimensions to this. And then the likelihood, this is kind of like the NPS score? Like, what's the likelihood that you're going to recommend this to somebody else? Like, that gives you more of like a trust of the technology.
Why specifically these technologies, I wonder? Like, for
Sorry?
example, why specifically just these technologies? For example, there's pipe CD, but yeah, I don't know. I just need to look into it a little bit more.
It could be that they just picked the top 15, right? The other ones that
maybe
they were not voting enough to even show up. It could be, I don't know. At the bottom it mentions like the methodology, but I don't know how that specifically, but it's a good question of like what others didn't show up. It could be that they just asked all of them. Also, like be that they selected
they're talking about
that
demographics,
and this is not related to Kubernetes. This is maybe what's related more on multi-cluster application management. So the other tools may not be applicable necessarily to multi-cluster management, like service mesh in terms of like shifting traffic from one cluster to another cluster. Armada is queuing, like batch job queuings to like run jobs on different clusters and monitor them. Karmada is from the multi-cluster. Backstage is kind of like an IDP. So I think it's maybe they selected things that they're little bit related to multi-cluster. I think that's my guess. I think that's how they put it on stage over there. We have another. I think the other one is the distribution normalized on usage, maturity, usefulness, and recommendation on where they land compared to the other ones. Like basically the different tables in one place. Then they have, so that was multi-cluster. Let me see what are the other sections. This one is methodology. I think with this is batch AI ML compute technologies. So this will be things like Kubeflow comes on the top.
They
don't have.
okay.
They have it here. They have like the radar, right? So Adopt is fluid. I'm not familiar with that one. Kubeflow, I'm familiar with that one. Use a lot for a long time. Like for the longest time, Kubeflow was one of the first projects to actually do something around machine learning in Kubernetes before some of the more popular now. Apache Airflow, like workflows, and kubefs. And then Apache Unicorn, next level, etc. Apache Unicorn is a scheduler, I believe. Kserve is from, I don't know. Kserve is under Kubeflow. I don't know why they split it out, but Kserve is something that is for the inference. It has two flavors, like deployment and also Knative. That goes from Zero. KubeRay. I think this is related to the Ray project that I was mentioning. Jupyter Hub.
I'm looking at Kserve. It says standard model inference platform on Kubernetes built for highly scalable use cases. What does it mean?
Yeah, so maybe because Kserve can be used without Kubeflow, but from I remember Kserve shows up under Kubeflow. It was one of the components to do the serving part. Like in machine learning, you do do the training and then you do the inference. Inference, like I think lately it's called now inference, but it's it was the part that people were calling serving. Like you're serving traffic.
Okay.
I think that's the word comes from, like serving traffic.
I'm not familiar with ML.
But basically, it's the portion that you create your container, which could be the Python code that has the libraries that then that part it would download the model, or you can package it with the container, but it would be very huge. And then do the serving. So Kubeflow, Apache. I think this is a good one because there's so many in this space on all kind of come together on like batch and ML and AI. Batch could also be for analytics, right? Or processing a lot of data. But I think it's here because training in multiple nodes requires kind of like a workflow or batch, right? You're running a lot of jobs separately that they communicate, eventually they will come up with the one result, which is the final model. What else they have here? They have so they have the same I don't know what they call it, the levels, like usefulness, maturity, likelihood that you're going to recommend this. So Apache Unicorn comes on the top. Apache Airflow. I've seen some projects move from Apache Airflow to Argo workflows, and there's some talks from some of the past Argo cons that talk some folks moving from that technology to Argo workflows. Argo workflows kind of like runs as a Kubernetes operator, is Kubernetes native. So it's for people that in that space, it's easier to manage than learning Airflow.
That's a great resource. Actually, I'm getting some ideas about some projects.
Volcano is here. I did a CNCF live stream of Volcano. Karmata, KubeRay. I think there's a KubeRay. Also, there's a Ray controller. There's a lot of tools around Ray and VLLM also working together. And then that's the model. So for people that don't know even these tools, right? The tech radars help you to even know like what to search for. You cannot just search best tools in AI using Kubernetes, right? That's the Perplexity or the GPT chatbots, but having something like this, right, serving the community of what people are using either in prod or in dev, or what people are assessing, right? That assessing versus adopting versus hold. Are there any? Do they have the hold? I didn't saw. Yeah, they have the hold even, right? The hold, like things that are like not moving forward. So I see things like Spiderpool. I don't know these projects. So that's a good thing, right?
I'm surprised to see Knative serving there, but
yeah, Knative is a project I was involved. There's not that much community support now. I think Red Hat is the only one supporting the project. But other projects that is replacing that serving is KEDA, KEDA.
Yeah.
I don't know if people are familiar with it. Is one it's CNCF. Is event-driven auto-scaling, so it does more than Knative serving. You can scale pods with any type of metric. You just plug whatever logic you want, or what you want a metric to be scraped. So you can put information in Prometheus and then drive it from there, or it can go and like launch pods based on a queue. Usually that's the most common use case. If you have a queue of you have a queue of like things that you need to do, and you want to do them faster or slower. Queue could be Kafka, or it could be SQS, or it could be your cloud provider, whatever you need to process. It will scale workers based on that, or it could on HTTP requests also can scale. I think I lost the PDF.
We are over time, by the way. 2 minutes. Do you want to cover something specifically?
No. I think that's it. We were able to cover 2 tech radars, the CNCF and the Thoughtworks.
Yeah. If you sit down for, I don't know, half a day and just read through them, it just gives you so many ideas about how you can find new tools or new approaches. And I think these tools, like that, these ways of communication, is internally or external, it doesn't matter, very helpful.
Oh, here it is, the thing that you mentioned, build your own radar.
Yeah, this is
I see.
This is a very good way of communicating in an organization.
Like a spreadsheet, and then generates a website or something.
It was different when we used this. It was a GitHub project, so I don't know this one. I haven't tried this one yet.
Oh, here it is. Yeah, build. You will do the spreadsheet, and then get back a URL from the sheet, and then in this website, right, paste the URL, and then we'll give you back the the HTML.
Yeah.
You
There's
you
also,
post it
I don't
here.
want to go into, I'm not going to go into too much detail in this, but something from my experience doing software architecture is that the lightweight architecture decision records, ADRs, is also a very powerful way to communicate your architectural
Decisions.
history, let's say. Yeah, decisions in a nutshell, and just in the context you're at right now. It's not like we think about the whole future or 5 years later. It's just what is our problem space and what we can solve with the tools at hand right now, usually.
Interesting. Yeah.
Can you,
that's
can you
very
repeat the name of that?
good
Sorry. Can you repeat the name of that? I didn't get it.
Yeah. These you can see them again in anywhere. Just lightweight architecture decision records. This is quite an adopted way within architecture teams, because there's certain tension between software developers and architecture teams in communicating and sharing knowledge, etc. This was something we used even in software teams to publish architectural decisions. It's not just this. I would suggest searching for lightweight, because it has a very
lightweight.
Clear structure. Yeah.
Interesting.
ADRs are everywhere. Lightweight versions have a very specific way of writing it. I like it more, but yeah, you always.
Okay. So it's from Thoughtworks.
Yeah, I think, I don't know if.
Oh, it's under Technique. Right.
I don't know if they're still doing it, but
it's not on the current edition.
But it's in the adopt, it seems, right? So it should be.
It was in adopt in 2018. But yeah,
so there is an article in about these. So yeah, it starts, if you go to this link, bye Chun, I hope to see you later. Yeah. So if you scroll down a little bit, you will see a proposal of 5 sections: title, context, decision, status, consequences.
Yeah.
So
they have they mean the template?
Yeah. It's
okay.
just this.
Very lightweight.
Yeah. Yeah. You just create a GitHub repository for this.
The links.
You keep building. Yeah. You keep building on top.
Yeah. And also something that you can put in the radar.
Maybe
right?
I saw it in maybe I saw it in the radar and I just didn't remember where I saw it from.
Yeah, this is good. This is augmentation, right? So if you do your radar in your company and you put a tool and in that blurb you can say, this is how we landed on using this tool, right? We decided to use this tool or use it this way.